Hey, what's going on, guys? Son here, bringing you a Division 2 video. Now, for my new subscribers out there, or the guys watching my videos, the goal of the channel is to get to 50 subscribers, but let's get into it. We are going over what is a build. What does that even mean? What does it mean to create a build in the Division 2 or in any action RPG, looter shooter, or what have you? So basically, the building blocks of a build is going to be equipment equipped, talents used, and synergy. Does the things that I have synergize together well to make the power fantasy that I'm trying to achieve? Now, for those of you listening, I'm going to be highlighting a few things, but I'm not really going into too much visual representation. This is clearly an audio thing on those who want to listen on how to make a build in the background. So when I go over something, I'm going to highlight it on the screen, but I'm also going to talk about it a little bit. So the foundations of a build and the synergy that creates a build. The build foundation that you want to try to figure out is, do I have a perfect balance, or do I have something that's holding me back? Do I have the necessary things that I need to create this character that I want to do high amounts of DPS, or do I want to tank things, or do I want to heal the group? In the Division 2 specifically, if you're a solo player, you want a little bit of everything. You can't have it all, but you want a little bit of everything. You want damage over time, DPS, damage per second. You want to be able to sustain yourself in a gunfight, and you want to be able to put out a significant amount of damage and survive. So if you can't survive while you're putting on high DPS, then what's the point? If you can't heal yourself or come out of that gunfight with the least amount of wounds in it, it's 50 to 1, and you have to be able to topple that. So you need a weapon that enhances your build, enhances your damage, or gives you survivability based off that talent. In this build specifically that I'm showing on screen, I have the Demolitionist specialization equipped with a military MK46 that has spike on it, and a custom M870 MCS that has Optimist on it. So the machine gun is going to enhance my skills. The shotgun is going to give me more weapon damage, and the survivability of this is that I remain in cover while my skills do the work. So for this build specifically, it is my skills doing the work and me doing the least amount of work possible while creating the most amount of damage. So the playstyle for this build is a little bit more passive, but it looks aggressive on screen. What's making this build work is that I have a good mask on it that gives me a good amount of skill haste. I have a backpack that has a talent on it that increases skill damage. It has tech support on it that also has more skill haste. Now I have a chest piece that gives me my skills back once my skills get a kill. And then I have gloves on that is in conjunction with the chest piece. They're both Gruppo, and with the Gruppo, if I get up to 2 of the brand sets, it gives me explosive damage. And then I have a holster on it that has more skill damage, and then I have knee pads on that gives me more skill damage. So I'm doing skill damage after skill damage after skill damage, and my skills, like I said before, are the things that's going to be doing the damage. Now when it comes to figuring out what you want to play and how you want to play, you need to try a little bit of everything. You have to go out there and fail in order to succeed. If you don't go out there and fail and test out the build, then you won't find out what works for you. Now this build may not work for you, but this build may work for somebody else. Now if you want to go out there and do high DPS, well, you're going to need to change your entire build up and spec into weapon damage overall. If you want to go out there and be a tank, then you need to spec into gaining armor on kill, getting that armor, getting bonus armor, and creating that survivability. because you're going to be boots on the ground, you're going to be first in the room, and you're going to be wanting to take all that damage. But if you're going to be a healer, you're going to be kind of sitting back, you're going to be watching the group, you're going to be watching health, and you're going to be wanting to put that life force back into your group. And if you're a DPS, then you're watching enemy movement, you're watching where they're going, and you're trying to take the enemy out before they push up on the tank and overwhelm them. Now, the holy trifecta of most RPGs, looter shooters, is going to be DPS, tank, and healer. But in the Division 2, there are hybrids out there that do a DPS with a tank that does a tank with a healer, or a healer with a DPS, and what have you. Now, when it comes to figuring out what you want to do, you need to first figure out what specialization do I like, right? Not the specialization weapon, but what specialization do I like? What does that specialization do for me that's going to make my build better? So the Demolitionist has its own set of buffs when it comes to causing explosive damage to enemies. It's going passive on it that does 10% increased explosive damage, effects of explosive grenade skills, and effects. So this here just increases the explosive velocity and damage output of my explosive skills that I have, and my concussion grenades and all that. So that's just one example of what specialization is working for me. The specialization weapon does do explosive damage when it lands on enemies in the area. So being more and more into explosives is what this build is about. So these are just some of the basics of what it means to create a build. This isn't going into the little details on what I have equipped or what other core attributes or minor attributes I have on my build and whatnot. All that stuff plays a significant role in enhancing your build, but what I want you guys to understand is that creating a build, you need to have the right mindset and what you're going for. What is it that I'm trying to achieve when it comes to helping out the team and putting out damage or heals or survivability? So with that being said, all good things must come to an end, and I'll see you in the next one.